Design Salvation, Episode 18.
This is Design Salvation, your lifeline to better design with Dixie and Annie. Our mission is to share our conversation with you so we can all elevate our work and lifestyle. Welcome to the fold.
Hey, y'all. It's Dixie Stark.
And Annie Lundquist.
We're Design Salvation.
And we're here to share our lifestyle and work style tips and stories and I don't know.
Yeah, it's lots of fun stuff.
There's a lot of fun stuff.
Or maybe it's fun stuff to us. I'm not sure.
Well, I know you said that you were in a dangerous predicament today. And I don't know what that means. So tell me what that means.
I don't know if this is fun to anybody else, but I started laughing at myself. So I had a delivery today, and it was one of those white glove deliveries because the white glove deliveries, in case somebody does or does not know, I'll back up for 2.2 seconds. Those deliveries are where they, bring the furniture in the home, but it's usually purchased through a larger retailer type person, or it's a subcontracted service. It's not one of our typical receivers and deliverers. So I had product that had to be shipped to a warehouse just outside of town, not my normal receiver, and I had to do the white glove service. And so this morning, I am, getting this text that says, okay, we'll be there between 7:45. I'm like, dear Lord, and 9:45. That's Bella.
Traffic.
She doesn't have place finish. That's her if you hear the clanky clank. Anyways, so yeah, really early in the morning, and they show up. So I'm, I skedaddle out of here and I get off to the project, and the project is not occupied right now, so that's really good. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so I get out to the project, and I had been punching the code in on the automatic gate.
Right.
And there's one gate, and then you kind of circle around through the driveway, and then you get the exit gate. And the exit gate is motion detected, but the one that you pull up to is typical. You punch in your code or whatever. Sure. So I was trying to punch in the code, and I was not getting it, and the stupid thing was not working. It starts shutting down on you, and you're like, oh gosh. Anyways, got through that trauma and had figured out the exact way, to punch the code in and get it just right and everything. This truck shows up about 45 minutes later, pretty much on schedule, and it was huge. And I ran out to the driveway, and I'm like, no. And I'm past the gate, okay? I'm like, no. You can't come through the driveway because your truck is so big. You're going to break the branches on her gorgeous Japanese maples. And I'm like, you're not coming through the driveway. And of course, they were completely annoyed with me. That's okay. So I said, no problem. I'll just go in, and I'll get everything ready and open up the doors and all that. Anyways, we managed that just fine. I got them in the house, no problem, and we got everything delivered. On the way out, the gate had shut. Whoa. So we're locked in on the inside in the house part. We're not locked out from the outside. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have access to the keypad to open the gate back up. Because it was kind of malfunctioning a little bit, and I was kind of panicking anyway this morning. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I had to scale the fence.
Ooh, James Bond.
Well, I did, and it was not sexy like James Bond at all. Oh. It was scary because
was it scary?
It was an arched gate, and it had all that scrolly stuff in it, and I had on boots, still got them on. I got my foot stuck in the circular part of the ironware. And y'all, I'm not kidding.
What did those workers think of you?
Well, they didn't want to scale the fence because it's white glove delivery service. And they're like, we're going to be responsible for this. And of course, they didn't know the code, and I wasn't going to tell them if they got on the other side of the fence.
Right.
And the rest of it's like a compound. The rest of the fencing is actually this huge brick tall, situation that you can't scale. So here I am scaling the fancy fence, and it's all arched and everything. I knew I was going to just bust it. Anyways.
Oh, I wish they'd taken a picture. Dang it.
I know. I ended up, it was so weird. I scaled it pretty good. I did get my boot stuck. And on the other side, I kind of got a little fouled up. And who knows what those guys saw. But all I knew is that I needed to hop up, pull myself together, and then I could open the gate up.
Mm-hmm.
But it still was malfunctioning and they had to run through and the whole thing.
Wow.
And they left. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh.
Is that on camera?
Did I bend over? Yeah, no, I don't think it's on there because the alarm and camera and stuff was shut off once I got into the house this morning. But I thought, oh my Lord, did my shirt fall down?
Exactly.
Did I see anything? I was scaling the fence. And of course, I'm like 25 years older than
I know, right?
Oh my
Oh, we're older than everybody now.
I'm sitting here going, okay, I don't think I did anything to the fence, but do I tell my clients?
Well, that's a good question.
Do I say, I had to scale your fence?
I kind of think you could say, boy, I really struggled with the gate. And in order to get those guys off your property, I had to scale the fence. Yeah. Don't you think?
I think I'm going to tell
just
them.
In case.
I just have a case of the guilties. I'm like, oh my gosh, what if something is wrong with the gate? Or what if I messed something up?
I think it also shows your devotion.
Okay.
And your willingness.
That I didn't want to be with the white glove guys all day in their house?
No, that you're willing to risk life and limb to do your job properly. Yes.
I don't know about that. All I know is that I can get the gate working and I scaled it and it was not pretty. And it was like a comedy of errors.
There's a story every day in our work.
There is a story
almost every day.
I mean, if there's not a story every day, there should be. Then that means it's not.
I do have a story. I haven't told.
You do?
I don't even know.
Is it a confession? Was that a confession that I just did?
No.
Oh, okay.
I have a confession.
Ooh. Have I never heard this? I've never
No,
heard this.
I'm not sure. In fact, I'm going to tell the story. And then if you think we shouldn't, then we're going to have Chris cut it out.
Oh, okay. Do tell. That bad. Whoa.
So
okay, I'm ready.
I had a client, and partly the reason I can tell the story is because she's now deceased. Bless her
that's
heart.
Too bad.
I know.
Was she older?
No.
Okay.
No, she should have lived much, much longer. So I went to pick up a piece of art for her that I had taken to this framer, kind of a quirky guy who did amazing, amazing work. But he was super unreliable, and he was always behind. And so I had to get this piece of art because I had promised that I would get it to the gal, so she could have it up for some party or something.
Of course, there's always a party. How long ago was this?
Oh, this is quite a while ago.
Okay.
This is probably 20 years ago.
So I just gave y'all a story that happened today, and then you're giving us a story that happened 20 years ago.
Yeah, 20 years ago. I think I have to get it off my chest.
I got you. All right.
So I went to pick up this piece, and the guy wasn't there, and so I can't remember
the guy that was the framer guy.
Yeah, he wasn't there. And so I went around the back because I knew he had a little storage kind of shed back there. So I went around the back and I just sort of busted into the little storage shed.
Oh, you're brave.
Well, I mean, it wasn't that busty. It was really easy to get in there. And I see in this shed that there's stuff that he's working on back there in this wet, damp, and it's a really rainy day. So I sort of paw through it just to see if perhaps my piece is there. And it is there.
Oh.
And it's a watercolor.
Okay, I was about to ask, what's the medium here?
Yeah, it's a watercolor, and the roof is leaking right on it. Right on it. So there's a little puddle in the middle of this work of art. Was
this an expensive piece?
It's
or was it more sentimental?
No, it wasn't. How do I put this? It's a sketch, as they call them. He called it a sketch. The artist did.
Okay.
So he's well known and he is expensive and he is living though.
Oh my God.
No, he's just deceased recently, but he has a big body of work. And so this is what he calls his sketches, but they are pieces of art, as you know. I mean, it's like, a Chihuly sketch would be sketchy, but still it's a piece of valuable art.
It is.
So I went home. I kind of pressed a little bit on the puddle and got rid of the puddle, and then went home and let it dry. And then I got.
So you picked it up.
I had to
because it was
going to get completely wrecked there. And I took it home and I let it dry. I had gotten the puddle out of it, so it wouldn't run all over. And then I got my paintbrush and watercolors out.
Are you serious?
I did a masterful job.
Are you?
I am
serious?
Dead serious. I was in
Shut the front door.
Yes, honey. I was in a full-blown, complete panic, and I just
you just started this,
and I thought, well, the least I can do is do it in the style of the artist and see how I do. And I literally, you couldn't tell. It was brilliant.
That would intimidate me.
Yeah, well,
until Sunday.
Well, if it hadn't worked, I would have totally come clean. But I thought,
I don't have an option.
I don't have an option. What is the downside here?
Okay, so
I mean, I may go to artist hell, but
you are
my designer hell and art down there with the artists who've copied things that they probably shouldn't. But I thought, will my client know what will serve my client the best?
Well, I mean, exactly. Mm-hmm. What's going to serve, and that is the whole idea of telling these stories,
right.
Is that we do go the extra mile, and we are trying to have their best interest at heart. I would have been so intimidated. You know what I would have done? I probably would have let it dry out and then taken it to another artist because I would have been so freaked out.
It was so long ago, and I was so short on funds. At that time, you're just scrapping. You're scrappy. You're trying to make stuff work. So
heck yeah.
I didn't really think I had any options. And so I'm not sure I could have slept long enough. I couldn't have slept knowing that it was down.
Right.
So I just did it myself.
You just, I just got to see if I can fix it. I just got to see if I can fix it.
And I could tell right away that it was fine. But seriously, it still sort of mortifies me that I did that. But I think I would do it again.
I'm pretty impressed, actually.
I think I would do it again.
Oh, that's pretty great. I'm pretty impressed. That's a confession, but everybody's deceased, so you can confess.
I can confess if everybody's dead.
All right. Well, you don't have to do anything for that. Like, I'm not going to make you do anything.
Okay, perfect.
I'm not going to make you do anything. Hey, I just took a drink of your drink. This is so good.
Do you like it?
Yes.
I kind of do, too.
And
it's very different.
Thank you for the book. Okay,
yes.
Annie bought me a book.
I did.
And I don't even know the name of it.
Well, it's kind of self-interested book. It's like what's the name of it?
What is the name of it? Well, we have a picture. I'll post it. It's about cocktails.
Book of cocktails or something. My book of
really good.
I picked it because they all have cute names, including the one we made today. Because I think that's so fun. This one's called A Blackberry Buck.
Yeah, but it's your rendition because y'all, let me tell you some of the things she put in this. Okay, balsamic vinegar. What the heck?
Yeah.
And it tastes amazing. And then you put preserves in here. I'm not
Blackberry
getting
preserves. Yes.
Blackberry preserves.
I didn't have, you're supposed to put in a simple syrup and blackberries. But
we didn't have that.
I didn't have that. So we just had a few blackberries. So I muddled those and then put the preserves in the shaker. Oh, and I brought you a shaker too. And a stir stick.
And a stir. So we don't have to use the knife.
The big huge knife. Yes.
Well, y'all, when I moved, I just started weeding out stuff, and I was like, I've got 2 of these shakers. I'll just get rid of this one. And then now I don't know where the other one is. And then I'm like, well, did I think that the first one I got rid of was actually the second one? And did I get rid of both of them? Like, what the heck
This
happened?
was part of your essentialism purge, right? When you
I was just like, how many shakers does one need? So I got rid of one, I thought. And evidently, I probably got rid of 2 and didn't even know it.
Could be.
But you know what? I got this one now, and I'm not going to get rid of it, except that we got to figure out how to get the lid off.
Yeah, we can't get the lid off, so we're going to have to work on that. I don't know. But anyway, so this drink, we'll put the recipe up, but it's a Blackberry Buck with, a few amendments because and this one has ginger beer in it too.
Oh, yeah, it does. We're kind of on the ginger beer.
We're on the ginger beer. It seems very fallish to me to have
it kind of seems fall. It got a nice tanginess to it. It's easy on the stomach. It makes it a little sweeter, the whole thing. But whoa.
And then it has bourbon in it, which
bourbon's wintry.
bourbon's wintry, and what's the difference between bourbon and whiskey?
I know. I knew you were going to ask this. I knew you were going to ask this. Everybody asked this. I know.
I Googled it.
I knew you were going to ask this.
Because I had no idea, of course.
Okay, this is what I think.
Okay.
So now I'm getting all insecure.
Yeah. Tell me what you think.
I thought that bourbon was the whiskey that's made in Kentucky, and that whiskey is just the alcohol that's made everywhere else. I don't know.
I think you might be right. What I read was that bourbon is made in the U.S.
No, it started in Kentucky.
Okay, well, that's probably true. So maybe that's just
Kentucky Derby, right? The Kentucky Distillery. Where is that? Jack Daniels is in Kentucky, right?
I don't know. That's your territory.
Oh, I should know. I don't know.
Anyway, we did it with bourbon, but you could use whiskey. But the recipe actually called for bourbon, so I don't know what the difference totally is, except I thought it was U.S.
You know, we've got these great distilleries that have popped up in Seattle. It's kind of interesting. So we went through the whole beer phase where everybody was doing beer. And, of course, the whole eastern side of the state does the wine thing. Mm-hmm. And then now we've got all these distilleries that have popped up. And there's some really great, like, vodkas and whiskeys But
you can't go do a tasting. Do people go do vodka?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, but I don't want to taste alcohol. That's the best part of the drink is when you don't taste the alcohol.
Well, I agree. However, if it's really good alcohol, it doesn't burn. It doesn't have all that weirdness. And you don't like guzzle it. I mean, literally, I'm not kidding. I almost just barely get it on my lips, just so I can taste it. You know, just does it have a hint of this or does it have a hint of that? But I'm not drinking it.
But I do like this one with the balsamic in it. It's fascinating. And
balsamic
actually,
vinegar.
You do a twist of cracked pepper too, which I think is super cool.
Cracked pepper is really good. You know, I think that's kind of the thing we're discovering. We're kind of learning as we go. When you put the sweet and then you put this kind of opposite spicy with it. Mm-hmm. And I so don't know anything about food or anything, but it's coming out pretty good.
Well, and also, you know, shrub is a drink that's very vinegary.
Yes.
And very, very chic these last couple years. So this is like a shrub.
It is like a shrub.
Yeah.
It is indeed. Anyways,
enough
you
about
rocked
that. But
you
we'll
totally
try
rocked
some
that.
more. Thank you.
Okay,
honey.
so speaking of Southern, you know, we keep bouncing around this topic and we never have talked about it.
I know exactly what you're going to say because,
Well, because we were just talking about Kentucky, it reminded me.
No, and we keep saying, let's do an episode on how to infuse your life with more Southern and home. Right, with more Southern stuff. Yeah.
How can you live Southern in every room?
And we keep bringing this up.
Or something like that.
Southern in every room. And then
But we keep touching on it. Like in the past episodes.
We talk about it like every time we do an episode, I think, in some way.
We keep touching on
flowers,
it in these other
candles.
episodes. So we're like, okay, that's boring. But I want to tell you the reason. Isn't it funny how your mind will skip around? Like, and maybe it's just my mind, but I'm like, okay, that made me think about this, and this makes me think about that, and that makes me think about that. And then I'm like, wait, what was I originally thinking about?
Well, let's skip around with everybody, as long as it's about design and fun stuff.
So I was at Target.
Uh-huh.
So I'm at the Target.
Yep.
And of course.
See, the Target.
Well,
so Southern.
I do. Did I say that?
Mm-hmm. I think it's cute. Keep going.
Okay, well, anyways.
You're at the Target.
So I was at the Target, and I was over in not the home section, but the Joanna Magnolia home section anyway. And I'm in Seattle, you guys. And so I'm over there, and I'm noticing the carafe that she has with the little glass on top of it.
Oh, yeah, for house guests.
Yeah, for your house guests.
Next to the bed.
And not a one of them is sold.
I don't think people in Seattle do that.
Oh my gosh, that's one of those Southern things.
Yeah.
Like everybody in their guest rooms, for the most part, I mean, not everybody lives this way or whatever, but usually you will find that in either the guest bath or the hallway or the kitchen even. Mostly it's in the bedrooms on the nightstand. That, you know, you have a carafe with fresh water and it may have a sprig of this or sprig of that, and then you have the glass on top, and that's for your guests.
There was
not one sold. I mean, the shelf was full of them. I don't think not one person in Seattle had bought that.
Probably doesn't even know what to do with it.
Well, I just had a little giggle to myself.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so funny to me because
Don't you think
they don't
Seattle
get
people,
it.
they're going to put a nice bottle of water next to your
Well,
bed
I
for
just
you?
did that. So here I am talking about this, that, and the other. I just went and got the Voss. I had a house
those
guest.
are beautiful. And those
Well, they
actually
look good.
suit your house.
Oh,
totally.
and they're just so sleek and it's nice and chunky and
Those are great.
yeah, they're really lovely. And I just like drinking out of a glass bottle anyway. I even like beer out of a glass, bottle instead of out of a, tumbler or whatever.
Or plastic.
But nobody had bought one.
Oh, that's funny.
And there was a part of me that was like, oh, they're going to figure out that these people out here don't get that.
Well, there's a lot we don't get, but
they don't get that.
I think most of our listeners do probably.
They do.
All the guest stuff that we do. I mean, I always leave the reading material for them. That's kind of stuff that they would be interested in.
Do you live pen and paper?
I leave pen and paper for sure.
Because we're pen and paper nuts. I would assume you did, but I have never spent the night over at your house.
That would be a great thing. We should have a slumber party.
And see, we should critique each other on
that
what
would be
they
a
do.
Blast. Let's do it.
Because
I'm not going to tell you what I do then. I was going to tell you what I do.
No, tell me. And then I'm going to make you do it.
Okay. So I do leave a lot of bathroom product available because I think it's super fun and luxurious to feel like you can use them. And people generally don't, by the way. The guests are too shy. I want them to use it.
I know. Isn't that weird?
Mm-hmm.
I went to that place in the U Village, not too long ago because I had house guests coming. And I got that. Is it Follan? 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 It's this.
I don't know.
It's this new. It's this new shop over at U Village next to I don't know, Room and Board or something over there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, all these lovely products and they're natural and their whole premise is the glass bottles that you refill
I'll have to go see.
as opposed
that you can
to the packaging's really
Good.
eco-friendly. And I think it is it may be a California-based company. But anyways, so much fun. But I, loaded up on all this good stuff and everything. And I don't think my house guests use too much. But
I know. But anyway, it's lovely to have it there. And I think it makes a difference. And I'm super forgetful when I travel. I'm forever.
You are?
Oh, yes. In terms of.
Gosh, I pack the kitchen sink.
Oh, no. I throw stuff in last minute. I never think about it. And then inevitably.
That sounds just like you. Wait till we go on some of these trips this fall and in the
I might
winter.
plan a little bit more for Paris. But,
okay.
But
that'll be a good idea.
In any case, I always leave a really pretty bar of soap out for them too. A brand new.
Yes, it has to be brand new. Absolutely has to be brand new.
Brand
you
new.
should have soft soap and you should have the bar soap. I'm
And
100%
I also leave
that.
a razor for sure because that's always forgotten. At least
I know.
by me.
Razor,
And
toothbrush.
I think that the set of towels for your guests should be a separate set then. Because our guest rooms right now are our kids' rooms because because my sister-in-law, Booney, Auntie Boone, lives with us. So she's in what is essentially the guest room. And then when the kids are off at college, we use their room. So I have a separate set of towels.
Yes, I think that's great. I have my guest house stay in my guest suite, and mine's not really a suite. I have a bathroom. I have a Murphy bed, but in this section, I would say, and then we have our personal towels. So that's always really good. But one of the other things, so back to my Target trip.
Oh,
so
okay.
I know.
Oh, but
I'm all over the place today. Calm me down. I don't know why, but anyways, so I'm at the Target. I'm thinking about the craft. I'm giggling to myself because I'm like, these people in the Seattle, they just don't get it.
Right.
And I'm not knocking Seattle at all. I just think that there are certain things
you can knock Seattle.
Well, no, there are just certain things that ever so often it just slaps me in the face that I don't live where I grew up, which is not a big deal. It's just, and it's fun. And there's there's just examples that are really apparent to me, and I get a little chuckle out of it.
Mhm.
But one of the things that it reminded me of is I walked around the corner and there were all the lamps and stuff. And I was like, so your mind's thinking,
Mhm.
okay, they don't do this here, but, back home we'd have the carafe. And then I went over around the corner and I hit the lamps, and then I hit the lampshades, and I went, that's another thing they don't do here. The only person that actually does this is Dawn, that, has her shop Prussian Blue. But in the South, people have lampshades that are lined with different fabric on the interior. And of course, I have one.
Yeah, I love
That's just
that.
kind of a
I
Southern
love
thing.
that. I didn't realize that was a Southern thing. It's
Well, I don't know that
great.
it is.
You
I
don't?
just think that a lot of people in the South actually embrace that particular
No, I love that.
concept.
Mm-hmm,
And so when I lived in Dallas, a lot of the women, because that's the home of Mary Kay Cosmetics, and a lot of the women would want their lampshades that were either in their bathroom, like on their bath sconces, or the lampshades that were in their bedroom lined with a soft pink.
Oh, yes, because
Yeah.
it creates that beautiful glow.
It
I
does.
drape my lamp in my bedroom with a pink linen scarf that I have.
Oh, see,
And it just
I
glows.
love
I love
that.
that.
I love that. That's a good trick. Hey, that is a great trick for
Mhm.
when you're traveling. Is
Yes.
if the lamp light is just like, and it's like some big old bulb and it's
Oh,
like
for
some tacky
sure.
lamp, just take the scarf that you have. Don't start a fire by
Mhm.
letting the scarf dip down too low, but just drape it over the lampshade and it will soften the whole, mood of the room.
And I think it's really smart
make
to
it
travel
feel
with
like
a
yours.
scented candle and some matches
Always
because
a travel
those rooms can smell
with a little,
really
they
heinous.
can smell
Oof.
awful. Yeah.
Awful.
So if you have a little candle and you do that, and I mean, I'm all about me some room service if I've had a really long day.
Room service is the best.
Isn't it fun?
It's super fun. It is super fun.
So much
Especially
fun.
at a great, at a
Not
great
that
hotel.
that's going to happen if like you're traveling to someone's house and you're staying at their house.
Mhm.
But if you're in a hotel,
Oh, room service all
So
the way. I
much fun.
love it.
so much fun.
I
I
love
love
it.
it so much.
So speaking of lining, the other thing that I love, speaking of lining lampshades, which I totally agree,
yeah.
is delightful. And I also like the little, like a grosgrain at the bottom
Oh,
or a
yeah.
passementerie or some
Oh,
little
yeah.
detail like that, or the pleated
Some
shades.
edge
I love
banding.
seeing the pattern shades on the exterior now being a big deal because
It's been the big deal for a little bit, hadn't it?
a little bit, but
Yeah.
I think it's really fun and different and adds
I do
another
too.
layer of design that
I do
is a
too.
good splash.
I remember I did a show house once. It wasn't even a show house. It was a show penthouse at Escala, which is
Mhm.
where, this whole 50 Shades of Grey kind of thing,
Mm.
That's the same building.
Mm-hmm,
I never got into that, but that was the setting, if you will.
Oh,
Anyways,
wow.
so crazy. But I remember that the lights were just atrocious, and I was on a budget, and I didn't have a lot of means with which to start changing out light fixtures and
Mhm.
stuff in certain utility areas. But also, this was in the entry of where you would enter the penthouse. I didn't have the budget. They didn't
Yeah.
allow me the budget to switch out the light fixture. It should have been something else, but it was where the elevator would drop you off before you got to your door to,
Mhm,
go into your penthouse suite. And anyways, was able to take just a shade and actually have that custom made
to
with
go
a fabric. And when I say
yes.
custom made, I'm not talking about a funky shape or anything, just a typical shade, and put that up there. And it made a huge, huge difference. And I'm
Smart.
noticing that some of the things that are on the market right now with some of the lights and stuff, they could do better.
Well,
You know?
absolutely. And I also
big-
think, the new light bulbs, that they keep saying they're getting a better color spectrum.
They're
and
still tough.
No, they're terrible. It's either
Ooh.
green or it's yellow or it's white or it's pink or it's
And it's almost like
bad.
you have to do your whole house the
Mhm.
same. If you don't do your whole house the
exactly.
same, it's a mess.
And I was at a really nice hotel recently.
Oh, yeah?
And they had a dimmer on absolutely everything. I was so thrilled.
Did you love it?
I was
New hotel, I
so
guess.
thrilled. It's actually not, but it's been newly renovated.
Okay.
And so literally you could work every light to your heart's desire. Like everything
So
was.
nice. Was
so-
it confusing?
No.
Or was it just really simple?
It was super simple. Well, they actually had an iPad with the lighting on there that you could set the whole room to a certain mood. Yeah. So that was fun. But I actually went and set them even lower. I like really low light.
Yeah, I do too. Really I actually do too. I'm always arguing with Jay about that. When we built the house, it was really funny because the electrician was like, oh, so you're going to use this toggle and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. And I'm like, no, I just want to flip the switch. And he's like, just flip a typical switch. I was like, yeah, I just want to flip a typical switch.
You mean, so you have the little side toggle, but you have the switch?
Well, he wanted, I'm sorry, I said toggle. I meant rocker.
Oh, the rocker.
He wanted me to do a rocker and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Those sophisticated ones, I can't work them.
I can't either. And then the ones that go up and they go down and all that. So no, I wanted the toggle. And he's like, no, you really don't want those. Blah, blah, blah. But they all have dimmers on them.
Yeah.
They're real subtle and whatnot. But I wanted that vintage kind of old school kind of feel. But we still were able to put them where you can dim them on your iPad and do all that kind of good stuff.
Oh, okay. Even without the really sophisticated, expensive ones, which I don't like.
We did it backwards, but we managed.
Good. I have a dimmer on everything. My outdoor lights, my closet lights, absolutely everything.
I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. So that's kind of cool.
But so back lining shades. The other thing they do in the South, which I love, is they line the back. The curtain lining is actually a pattern.
Always fun.
Love that.
Always fun. And a lot of that too goes back to a couple of things. And I could spout like 3 or 4 things off. They do that a lot of times because the draperies are pulled back. They do that to let the light in, and then they do that to shut the house down. They also are able to get away with it architecturally because a lot of times those windows are the same windows that are looking onto a sleeping porch or a wraparound porch or some porch. So you get that effect that it's like on the interior, you get your one fabric, and on the exterior, you get your other fabric. And for some reason, the way the porches and the overhangs and everything work, it breaks up the facade of the building. And so you don't notice when you're just like, walking down the street or driving by that there's that happening. I'm always cautioning people to not get crazy pants on either their lining or 3 or 4 different types of blinds or shutters to keep that consistency architecturally speaking. But in the South, because of the way the architecture and the porches, that's one of the great things that you can do there. And it works like a charm, and it's so beautiful. And it is one of the rare things that you don't ever see out here. And I love that. It's just a little added element. And
I think all those added elements are the things that obviously all those layers.
Oh,
it's just so great. It's so great. And we need to all work on that. And I know with the sort of cleaner palette and the more
simplistic the nod things, towards the Swedish life and all that
honestly,
good kind of stuff.
I think in those contexts, it's almost more important that your details are
dialed in
and thoughtful. And I mean, because that's
intentional.
Where if you have the wrong light switch, it will stand out.
Absolutely.
So you better put the right one in there. You better put the right molding in, and then you better put the right trim on your pillow. Like everything matters.
Everything. When you have less, you really do have to be super cautious about how you execute the look.
Yeah. Because otherwise it will just look like everybody else's. And it's those things.
Mainstream.
Yeah.
It's one of the things like on the pillows, like I love that my workroom, she knows how to do. We call it baby welt.
Yeah.
And basically it's detailing a knife edge pillow with welt, but what she does is she uses string instead of using a big old thick I guess that string too, but
teeny tiny welt. So awesome.
Tiny. It's like the size of rat tail trim.
It's fantastic.
And that little detail, and then she'll pop it, just ever so slightly. And it just barely sticking up. Those little details are the things that just really make it more custom and make it extra special.
I wonder if there's a way that we could sort of share those little super special details
Little
at some
tricky
point. We'll have to sort of
bits.
build some kind of a
We should just build like
a little
it's not a
dossier.
glossary, but
Yeah, something. Not a glossary because you can
No,
look
'cause
up all that
glossary
stuff.
are
But where
definitions.
we really show what that tiny welt looks like, why you would do it. Because it's one thing to just say it and everyone hears it and goes, "Oh, it's okay, tiny welt, big deal." But to actually see
See
it
the
executed,
difference
yeah,
between
yeah. We
the
need to.
two
We'll have
is
to take some notes on that. and see what-
unbelievable.
yeah,
It
yeah.
is. But those are those are highlights of things that I can think of that really kind of differentiate between what we do up here and what they do down there,
No, what do you mean up here, down there?
Well, I'm talking about Southern versus
Oh,
Pacific
right.
Northwest. And
Yeah,
little
I mean,
details.
mhm.
No, I mean, just it's like those are the
Mhm.
things that they're really, really particular about, and we're less so.
Mhm.
We're a lot more casual,
We're
you know,
super
just
casual,
relaxed.
right? No,
But
which
I
is a
think
good
it's-
thing. But let's all infuse a little more Southern.
Yeah.
I love it that there is not one time I've ever come over here when you haven't lit the scented candle in your powder room, and I adore
so
that.
cute.
I love going in there because it's like, what's it going to smell like today?
I do kind of mix it up.
I
ever
know
so
you
often.
do. You always put something different in there,
I
and
know.
it's charming,
I
and I
know.
appreciate it. I just wanted you to
that's
know.
Sweet.
I
The
appreciate
same
it.
Hey, I have to. It's not just me though. I come over to your place and I never know what to expect, and it's always kind of like a little little just surprise. The one thing that really always gets me. We've mentioned this before, is just the way your kitchen operates, the way your butler's pantry operates, the way you just have your
It's all
mixture
out
of
there.
great dishes. And it's y'all. She has just these great containers. I think it's like a wicker container or basket
I have
where
little
you've just got
baskets, yeah.
all your silverware shoved in it.
Mhm.
It's so elegant, but yet at the same time, it's very easy and relaxed and comfortable.
So I was excited the other day. I have to get back to her, but there's a gal a local gal, and she's wonderful chef, and she has a cookbook, and she has another cookbook coming out. And I'm not going to say her name yet. I'll tell you all later, but because I want to make sure this actually happens. But she Instagrammed and said, because we've DM'd before, could I come do a photo shoot in your kitchen? And a little fun thing. And
No way.
I was excited and I'm flattered, and I think it would be super fun, and I'd love to have her. And but then you're like, I'm going to text her and say, yeah, but could you come over before so I can show you all the things that I don't show in particular photographs that aren't complete in my kitchen yet? Because I have a bunch of areas that are not really buffed out. So I just want to make sure she doesn't come over expecting
so just
perfection.
elegant,
And because I
easy.
do sort of, I don't.
Okay, you have to keep us posted on
I
that.
know,
That
I
is
will.
so
Wouldn't that be fun?
stinking cool.
Yeah, and I think she's going to send it off to a TV show or something. So I know, that'd be fun, wouldn't it?
exciting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No
I'll have to
way.
be posted,
No way. That is so fantastic. You should feel so flattered.
I am totally flattered, but I just want to make sure it's grounded in reality, that she understands, They might have to pick a few angles that, just like we all do. We all have a good side. My kitchen has a good side.
Well, yeah, your kitchen has a good side. Your face has a good side. Your backside has a good side.
Not my backside. What are you
No.
talking about, girlfriend? Okay. We better
It's
all
all
out
good.
here.
It's all good, but that's really awesome. Well, we've talked about a bunch of crazy things. We were all over the world and back again. I hope it was fun, even if it wasn't easy to follow. But we're not funny, but we're fun, right?
That's right.
We always
we're not
say that.
funny, but
Well,
we're pretty fun.
It's
We
all
hope we
good.
put a smile on your face, and send us any questions you might have, any topics
yeah.
you think might be good for us, and we need to plan our sleepover, sister.
Oh, that's going to be so much fun. We'll keep you guys posted.
Yeah.
Okay. Ciao for now.
Ciao for now.
Hey, y'all. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also find us at designsalvation.com, where we'll have the past podcasts listed as well as show notes. Hope to see you there.
What are we talking about today, girlfriend? Do we have a plan?
I don't know.
Oh,
What do you want? What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. I had a couple of little ideas.
I really don't have any ideas.
Okay.
I'm just smooth out.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Well, we'll just
wing it.
That's what we always do, I guess.
That's all right. I mean, you know what? If we go from one topic to the next,
it's gonna be jumpy.
It's just like, well, you know what? It's just the way it always is.
That's true.
I mean, so it is what it is.
Usually we have a little more structure here.
Well, I know you want to give it more structure, but
we talk about that little mouse that climbed all over your car. That was so cute. We should post that. We're not?
We're not talking about that. That's embarrassing.
No,
like, where did he come from?
He came from the Starbucks garbage can. That's where he came from. He was cute.
Yeah, but he didn't look like a rat.
He wasn't, was he? He was a mouse.
He was a little mouse.
No,
I'm
he was
scared
cute.
that he was somebody's mouse.
Oh.
I'm scared he was somebody's pet.
There are wild mice, sweetie.
But with white bellies like that and the most beautiful pink ears you ever saw.
I think so because
they were big. It was like it was Ratatouille.
No, because it was like Ratatouille.
I know, he was so cute.
But I had those little mice, remember I told you, that made a nest in my bee skep?
No.
Yes, this summer. I didn't tell you that. And I lifted up the lid and there was the mama mouse and all the babies.
What did you do with them?
I can't really talk about it.
Oh,
I didn't do anything. I screamed and I got Deke and he handled the mouse situation. And I said, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I just don't want to know.
Oh my gosh. See, we can't talk about that.
No,
We're not
can't
talking
talk
about
that. No.
we already talked about the like dog situation that miserably failed us. We're not talking about that.
I know we've lost a dog.
We're just not going to do that.
Okay.
But anyways. Okay. So we know what we're talking about, kind of, sort of.
Well,
not really, but okay,
not really.
we'll just roll with it
Here we
and
go.
then we'll
Let's
just get going.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.